Hello, my name is AJ. I'm the head of performance at Williams Resolve and I'm a performance advisor at British Esports. Today, in this video, I have a little Q&A for you. So I've got 3 questions from my Twitter and I'm going to answer them as honestly and as openly as I can. Number 1 from Tadpole RL. Thank you, Tad, for the question. He has asked, is there anything that came as a huge surprise when you started working in esports performance? The most surprising thing was me having to move the baseline of my sort of expectations. So what I mean by that is their knowledge about diet in esports, their knowledge about sleep, exercise, and how this can impact your in-game performance was limited at best. Most esports athletes that I work with now, we really go back to the basics and build up a very basic foundation. The best example, as I said for the podcast, was visualization and mental rehearsal. These are 2 things that I think you can do immediately that will have a great effect on your performance, but doesn't really happen in my experience in esports, at least not with impetus. So you might accidentally be thinking about Rocket League, or you might accidentally be thinking about League of Legends, Valorant, Apex, whatever it may be, Fortnite, but really visualizing a positive scenario in which is likely to happen can make a huge difference when it comes to your in-game. These sorts of things tend to be skipped in the world of esports. So I think that was the most surprising thing for me. Question number 2, from Here Lies Jeff. Jeff, thank you for the question. He has asked, who is the most difficult player that you've worked with and why? What could you have done better? Now, Jeff is, we always talk about transparency and openness at Resolve. I'm not going to throw anyone under the bus, I'm not going to name names. I'm going to get a lot of abuse from Jeff for it. So, one challenge that I have consistently found in esports and in traditional sports is about what's called buy-in. So what buy-in sort of refers to is I must make sure as a coach in any capacity, whether it's performance or in-game or tennis or football, that what I am coaching and the way that I am coaching, the players are on board with. So for me, the buy-in in esports performance is making sure that people understand the importance of diet, sleep and exercise, for example, and how that can affect your in-game. The route that I go through is through cognitive performance. If you do these things, your brain is going to work better and therefore you'll be better in-game. One challenge that I have had with certain players, quite a lot of players, is just making sure that that buy-in is there. Now, the sort of flip side of that is you can only do so much. You can take a horse to water, but you can't make it drink, that old adage. One thing that I can do better, and I've tried to do this season, is understand the player environment more. What's going on in their home life, as long as they're happy to explain, of course. What's going on in their home life? Is everything okay financially? Is everything okay in your relationship? Is everything okay with aspects outside of the game and performance as a whole? So I try and know more, understand more about the individual, not as a personality, but as the things that are happening in their life, with the attempt to ensure that as time goes by, I will be more malleable to things cropping up. I think that is what I would do better and what I'm trying to do better. This split is making sure that I have a better understanding of generally what's going on in the player lives and generally, as long as they're happy, of course, to talk to me about it, but generally understand that to a greater extent. Question number 3 from Slimkins. James, thank you, my brother. I appreciate the question. He has asked, if you could work with one player in your career, traditional or esports, who would it be and why? Now, I'm gonna do one of each, I think. So for traditional sports, let's start there. 100,000,000% it's gonna be either Djokovic or Federer. I would probably go Federer just because of his sort of length of career and his sort of stranglehold on tennis as one of the best of all time, if not the best of all time, which I think he is. His poise, his ability to deal with different states, internal and external, his consistency and his drive has always really inspired me. And I think that's something that all athletes, esports, traditional sports, should be looking at. Individuals like him to understand better. Esports, I think it's slightly more difficult. Whilst I've been working in esports for 4 years, it's across multiple platforms, so multiple games, sorry. So there is a little more variance there because of that. I would love to work with Perks from League of Legends. Now, for those of you who don't follow League of Legends, Perks has been he's sort of known as a very malleable player. He's played multiple roles, which is really unusual at the very highest level. But he's always been a captain and a leader. And I would love to see what like he won MSI, which is a big world championship. So what world champions are doing from a leadership standpoint, I would absolutely love to see that. I would love to see how they communicate. I would love to see their choice of language. I think that would be really interesting. How they hold themselves, what they say after wins, what they say after losses. I would really like to see that from an in-game player perspective. So there you go. I would love to work with Roger Federer, and I would love to work with Perks from League of Legends. Okay, so those are the 3 questions for today. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. If you have any questions, please pop them in the comments, or please drop them to me on Twitter. I'll regularly do these sort of posts on Twitter to field some questions for videos like this. So my Twitter is AJ__Davies, DAVIES. You should see it on the screen now. So thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a fantastic day.